still lives with us. So I don't know how that works, but she's a bossy roommate.
Hey.
And she gets me up in the mornings too, I'll tell you what. But it's
All
all
right.
good.
It's all
We're
good.
here now.
Hey, you're here. And this is how it goes down.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this thing started. What's up, my peeps? What's up, my peeps? This is your girl, JQ. You're listening to Valley Sounds on 89.3 Huntsville. I am super massive amounts of ecstatic, excited, fabulous, and what? To have my girl Ingrid Marie in the studio.
Hey, JQ.
What's
Hey, everybody.
What's up, girl? What's up? What's up? Listen, you guys are in for a treat today. Ingrid has been recording. She played us some live tunes. She bought the red box in the studio, and honey, she threw it down. So we're just about to jump right on in. You know, my first question for you is, you have been creating music for a while. What has been your sudden shift all of a sudden, like in the last few years of why you are putting out your own music, like amazing, but what has been this sudden thing? How did it come about?
Let me tell you what, if you want a good life, you can't 99% it. You can't just make little cuts, like maybe like I'm going to skip dairy, but then I'm going to load up on donuts. You got to cut everything out. You got to carve it all away. And when you reach that one or two things in life that matter, you will have everything. And you got to know what those two things are that matter to you. But it's not just little cuts. It is literally, you have to let everything else go. I'm talking about clean out your house, delete those 18,000 emails on your phone, get rid of whatever car situation problems, you get rid of the people situation problems that you have. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time or your attention on anything that is not top-notch.
Well, you know, you said one or two things. What were those one or two things that, you know, you decided to really, really focus on?
It is surrender. It is on my face, driving a 3,000-mile round trip 2 times a month to come see my dad in his last few months and also be there with my kids on the other end. And the story that wrote itself all the way on the way. And I'm like, Lord, you give me the light sentence. Give me the light sentence. Make it easy on me, but I do want to give up everything. I want to surrender everything because I just want one good thing to take care of. And it's love. It's love. It's relationship. Everything else comes out of that.
You know, I can tell that you have a great relationship with your music and all your songwriting and, you know, everything that you're doing to surrender and give all that you have to your music. But has this journey going from place to place, New York to the South, from up top to bottom, you know?
East, West.
Yeah, like, how does that come off in your music?
I think, you know, I've always had a restless foot. We have some gypsy in us. I don't know if it's Romania or, you know, Czech, but I can never stay still, and I still hadn't gone all the places I want to go. I've been to a few places in Europe and Canada, and I almost swam to Mexico down there and, you know, off the coast of Texas, but I want to get out, and I want to see the faces and the cultures of the people that I know I can affect by this music. And so going to them is more practical than getting everybody in the world to come out here. However, if you were to come to the most awesome place in the planet, it would be Huntsville.
Girl, yes. Huntsville is the most awesome place.
It's what's happening.
It's what's really happening.
It's a hot spot.
It is.
Yes.
Especially with everything that's going on. And, you know, you're so blessed to be, like, right
coming
in the
here
midst.
to us where we having our barbecues in the backyard. And folks are flying in from L.A. and, you know, coming over from Atlanta, coming up from Gulf Coast. Coming down from Canada.
Yes. You know, you just performed a song for us, Cant Lose.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about where that came from. And right now, you seem that you're not losing.
It's win. And we'll talk about some win-win-wins for our community here in a little bit. But the song is older. At the time I was married, and I was wanting to know, can I have it all? Can I keep my family? Can I be going out these late nights? What's it going to take? What's the sacrifice involved? And can I keep my marriage through this? And it was hard, and we struggled, and it ended up losing things I didn't think I was going to lose. And yet that music was still the heart of me, and something was still beating my heart. Something was still growing my hair. No matter what I did, no matter what struggles that we went through, you know, we're intact and we're powerful and we're meeting other people in the same situations. And so when you're down, that's what comes back and brings other people up in their future. This might be their guidebook when they're going through their tough times. But, the song's about I can't lose. I can't do that again. I've already been there. It's broke up and it's broke off. And it's time now that my hands are open, fully surrendered. I'm not holding on to anything. My hands are free for anything good that's coming into my life. And it's good. It's so good.
You are doing amazing things with your music, but what have you done to, the plans that you've made to get noticed? Because right now, girl, you are hot. You are like really doing it. I'm seeing you everywhere on all platforms. Your music is starting to get hot. You're starting to be requested to be in, venues here and there and a little bit of everywhere. So, like you said, what are you doing to surrender and to get noticed? How's that happen?
It's twofold. I think it's the external thing that, like, if people want like the how-to, the checklist, it's keep connected. Remember the people that show you some love, and when you're overflowing, when you're wanting to give that, make sure you call them up, even if it's just a stupid little MP3 that says, I love you, happy birthday, so glad you're born, and they hear it and think, she remembers me, wow, and they're touched by that, and that comes back to you. And then there is a lot of, this community itself, it's not just me, but it's literally anybody who keeps their feet to the ground. There is no way not to succeed. There are so many things going on. The ladies here are pumped up. They're rocking. They're continually putting it out there and giving you ways and avenues. The twofold thing I'm talking about is, again, it's that internal thing. I spend about 90% of my time on self-care. And when I say that, I mean 3 hours in the morning are my walk and a slow coffee break and a bath and whatever it takes to get my mind in that right mindset. Because if you don't care for that, it takes more time and more effort than you think it does when you start.
Yes.
So I'm just increasing that over the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's up to 90% right now. That 10% is all the overflow that comes from that is giving back. And it's returning my calls. It's getting rid of those emails. It's letting loose the people that are, they're in the way of your team. They have their own team. They need to do their own thing. And God bless them for that. But you need that space to do the one thing, and that focus is what it is all about.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And self-care is probably one of the most important things when it comes to any creative spirit or any movement forward. You've got to be able to take care of yourself so you can get moving and get grooving. You're in this space now where you are blowing up. You are doing it. You have your self-care regimen going on. You have so many other things that you're doing. But how did you get to this identity? Where did it come from? How did you find the Ingrid Marie where she is right now? Where did she come from?
I think the number one defining quality of my spirit and my person has come through tragedy and loss. And I used to write a lot of slow, sad songs about it. And the flip side, when you press through the other side, is I'm happy. I'm joy-filled. And I had joy during the tragedy, but it was a compressed, weighty thing. And it was, am I going to recover from this? I need to see some hope. And there was people in my life reaching in. And sometimes somebody just has to come take you by the hand because we can't do all this by ourselves. But I have some warm, loving, just generous relationships with people in my life, like Dave Gallagher, my great Dave, has been a mentor to musicians in this community for ages. And I noticed early on with shows with him, I don't even remember where we met, but it was probably over here in a WLRH event the first time. And he showed up to a gig that I had called and asked him to come on with a full van. And he wanted to set he was like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I have everything you need. And I thought, you're hosting me, and I asked you, and my mind was blown.
Wow.
And now with the Women in Music weekend that they've been doing, the second year around, the first year was awesome, the first year is always the hardest to get onto anything. Festivals, all kind of local things. People are new and they're trying stuff out. But this year, I got another call that blows my mind that it was an email actually, and it said, these are your dates, you're scheduled this week. And so I was sitting there thinking, I've got to go to the venues and set all this stuff up. And that's the kind of thing that breaks my routine.
Yeah.
Because I got to get back to those people. But they had gone between, done the scheduling with over 40 women and over 25 venues.
Wow.
And set us up individually and then contacted us, connected.
It was amazing. That Women in Music Weekend Huntsville was amazing.
Blew it out the water.
Girl.
And next year, woo! Yeah, we're going to more than double that. I know it. I feel it.
I was exposed to so many other women that I did not know about as well. And then I got to meet women that, in music, I'm a music lover. And then my heart is for women in all aspects of life. And so to be playing their music on the show and then actually be connected with them face to face, it just felt like a synergistic energy that was like, boom.
It is. I know that about you being in the right place at the right time and that care for women. You can feel it when you're in your presence, and I love that about you. I felt that from you several years ago when I started following you.
Oh,
and when you noticed me, I was like, she noticed me. She's good.
Yes.
Here we are colliding. Our worlds are crisscrossing. Our paths are crossing. I know, it's
girl.
Good.
Well, what is one of your favorite albums that you've put out? And tell me about the process of you actually creating a song from beginning, creative, production, to putting out, to promoting it.
I always have to say The Thing I'm Writing is my favorite album. And this one, I can't reveal the title yet, but it is full of kismet and paths crossing and people not knowing that they met each other, but being in the same room all the time throughout a lifetime. So it is definitely, I would call it in the indie romance, the theme album. So lots of good stuff coming with that. But my process is, like I said, that self-care. You have to protect your space and only let in the absolute best, just like you're in your kitchen. You want the freshest ingredients, the sharpest knife. You want your space set up just how you like it. And when everything is locked in like that, the thing happens on its own. It just it flows through you. And I get things now that I've made all that space. It used to be a little more work. Now the song will just drop in from this place. And if I close my eyes and tune into what's going on up here, I'll hear a phrase. I put it in my MP3. I'll hear the next phrase. I put it in my MP3, and I'll go straight through a full song, 2-3 verses and a couple choruses in 5 minutes, and I have the thing on my phone.
Wow.
And the best thing for me to do, which I normally don't do, is not to take it to an instrument then. I'm tempted to go lay a bass line and then go play on my GarageBand because I love to do that. The best thing for me, I think, is to then give it to somebody, a pro, that can hear their own genre or style with it. Because if I pick up my guitar, and this is kind of like a more soft, like R&B type thing I'm hearing, but I play it on the guitar, it's going to come out sound like banjo music. So I mix the genre up by getting in my own way of myself.
Oh, wow.
So going to that other person whose job it is to have the biggest ears in the county, or whoever you can get a hold of and whoever that song suggests itself to.
Do you, well, let me ask this. Are you a songwriter first and then a musician, or were you a musician first and then a songwriter?
We had instruments in the house, but I didn't know or consider myself to be a musician. My mom is a musician. We'd fall asleep to her playing the piano at night. I had cello lessons for 8 years when I was a child. I started in band playing flute. So I knew all the music and I knew the stuff. And then I had what I thought was this separate world of poetry, which was journals, wondering what life is about and do boys like me and why are mom and dad like this? Just pages and pages. And I still have them, but they're locked down, so don't get near. There's nobody. But from that, in college was the first time someone said to me, have you ever put your poetry to music? And it was like a slap to the heart, like, no, I didn't think I could do that. I didn't know how you became a songwriter.
Wow.
But the two things existed. They coexisted side by side. And it was so natural because my poetry was written almost in melodic form. But right now, the words and the music they're joined. They're like twins. They just come through together immediately. And so then it's done. especially if I'm excited about something.
So tell me about what you have next on the forefront. I know that you say you love community, and you really do give a lot. You pour a lot of music and soul and, giving your art back to the community. What's next for you coming up as far as what you're planning to
It's
give
the only thing that feels
to this
good.
world?
It's the only thing that feels good when you're with other people and you've spent, introverts spend enough alone time. Then you're like the ocean and the tide is in, and it's like, who can I see? Who can I call this week? And at the same exact time, I'll be getting an email from somebody like Victoria Jones, or like on the Women in Music page. Good morning, ladies. I hope all is well. One thing I know for sure, if you're on this thread, you're busy. I want to share an opportunity with you.
Oh, man.
So I'm hooked. And I'm in the middle of like that prayer time, meditation time, and I'm picturing in my head like this magical land where everything is just perfect, like the way we want it to be. And I'm feeling chills, and I'm just laying under that, enjoying it. And then I hear this doop, and I look at the phone, and I'm like, always good news from Victoria Jones. What's she doing? She's working with the Alabama State Arts Council to integrate funding to put music and arts into the classroom with the means of education.
Yeah.
And I, 2 months ago, had sat with my aunt to discuss what I was doing with the Microwave Day Foundation at the schools, and trying to break down to her at dinner. And I could hardly even eat. I was spitting food everywhere. I was so excited, telling her, I got to roll on the floor with the kids, and I taught them listening exercises and empathy. And this belongs in the classroom.
Yes.
This belongs in the classroom.
Girl, I'm telling you, we have so much stuff as far as when it comes to our art and our culture and those things that drive what we feel emotionally that we need to implement into our children's daily life learning lessons.
And how can we turn up if we don't know what our voice is? And how can we know what our voice is if we don't know how to listen? And I learned these improv skills. I'm sure you've been in one of these classes where it's like, JQ, I'm so thrilled that you have me here today. And you say, yes, Ingrid, you're so thrilled that I'm having you here today, and you have no idea how much it means to have you on the show. And I say, yes, I have no idea how much it means for you to have me on the show. And I'm thrilled and can't wait to see what this next week is going to come. And we go back and forth. We do this with the kids. But what I discovered was that wasn't the challenge for me, because I am about 5 to 8 years old inside. Yeah. So rolling on the floor with kids.
I got you, because I think I'm like,
that's a blast.
I think I'm 9.
Yeah,
I'm 9.
Obviously we're in class together. But what about the adults who's supposed to be leading the way that never got that because it passed over us? Yeah. We missed that. And now it's time. This is not only an educational thing that Victoria's working with Miss Green, I think is her point person. But and I also got a message from Karen earlier today. I hope to meet with her soon. But the economic development, which we can see, Huntsville is exploding out of the seams for the last couple of years, and more coming. We need to have all the resources together that can accommodate the massive explosion of humans coming here. More technology, more arts, more attention, and diverse interests from other countries. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, honey.
Yes,
I
want to go.
Slotted, right now to be the number 4 city
Ooh!
in America for economic development and growth, honey. I'm just so excited to be repping my city.
And Alabama's going to show them how.
Yeah, right.
We're going to show this. I'm like calling my friends in other states. Do you guys have this yet? Are y'all doing this kind of thing? Like, head up, eyes out, looking in the horizon.
That's right.
Because this is what's coming to the United States.
This is what's
led
coming.
by Alabama,
this is
of all places.
So, as an artist, we always have like these dreams and hopes of your number one person that if you could do a song with them or write something for them, who would be the person or the artist or the star that you would really just love to like link up with and do some major work with?
Oh, wow. Gotta pick one, right? Okay, I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. I'm going to say Carole King is walking in here right now, and I would fall out on the ground if she walked.
Carole King?
Yes,
wow.
ma'am.
Why?
Ooh, her face the joy when she's on the, her hair's flying, her mouth is about this big, and she bangs on those keyboards, and she writes the best songs, she writes with the best people, but she's somehow still there with her crowd. She's somehow still out there.
Yeah, she's still connected. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I think that's a major thing. And you're not too far, because every time you perform, whether I get to see you live or, I get to hear your song, one of my favorite songs that I'm doing with you right now is You Don't Know Me, girl.
Oh, you know that?
Yes, I love that song. And so when I hear that song, I feel like I'm so connected with you. When I see you live, I'm so connected with you. So no worries. You are not far from Carole, because you stay connected, with your people as well. And it's got to be a great feeling to know, or to be able to perform and to still be connected.
When I stopped talking to the people in my head while I was singing, I used to watch the servers go by, and they're maybe they have a heavy tray, but they glance over at me and I see his face and I think, he's thinking, I can't wait for her to be finished. Why doesn't she just go ahead and leave? She's not any good. And I hear those things, and I used to engage them live while I'm sitting there with people in front of me, and I'm staring at my hands going, don't panic, don't panic. So that space, the main part is the mental space, being okay. And I didn't say go away voices, because that's just going to make them louder. They like that. I said, you know what, little baby kid? You know what, little kid that fell down on the playground? Come on up here in Ingrid's lap. You need to be held. You thinking those thoughts? I feel for you. I love you. Get up here, and I'm going to hold you until you forget what's making you cry and you run off back to the slide. And I've seen it, and that space it's gone. It's empty, and it's just there for the vision. And that's what I was made for.
Wow. So your last song that you're going to perform live for us, tell me about it.
Okay, the newest thing?
Yes.
I've got a tune that was extremely hard to write, but it is a favorite from my number one, number two fans, and I call it Go, and it is simply a song about permission for someone at the end of their life who is suffering to be allowed to say goodbye and be allowed to let go. And so they are in a difficult space. They're partly gone over. And part of them is staying here for us out of duty. What's going to happen to them? Who's going to take care of them? And they need to know that we're going to be all right. And so my dad lived with me this summer for 82 days in my house, and we watched him make several swings and comebacks, which was amazing for us, gifts to the last day, to eternity, for the last day of my life. And then there was a time when I saw him wanting to go home. And so these words came out, and in our life there was always this kind of like a railroad theme. There was a time when I was a little girl that we were stopped at a crossing gate in the road, and my older brother said, doesn't matter, this just means we have more time to spend together.
Oh my.
And we have talked about that was probably 5, 6, 7, happy time, happy place, and throughout our lives, we have referred back to that theme of, there's a lot of motion. That train's on its own path. We're sitting here just watching it go by, just counting cars, being together, realizing it doesn't matter that we're late to our lessons or sailing or whatever
just
thing.
Together.
We're in the journey, not at the destination. And that stayed with me and shaped me as a human through my whole life. And so there's references to those types of things throughout the piece. And so I'm Not Far Behind was the working title, which means go on and go. It's okay. If you want to go, I'll be right there with you.
Oh, man. Ingrid, it has been a joy, a pleasure. I'm saying, you have re-energized me in so many different ways, just for my creative space, for my day, for my night. Girl, your energy is amazing. It's love to have a twin energy in the space with me.
Double up.
Is there anything that you'd like to leave our listeners as we take out this evening?
I love you guys, and you could not imagine how grateful we artists are to be seen and visible and to be heard and have people over here that are tapped in and to have you guys showing up to things. You cannot imagine what a difference that makes. I should say something about the gigs we've got. I'm working with a new trio, which is shifting the funner, faster songs from my Ingrid Marie set that I work with Microwave Dave and Clay Swafford, the keyboardist. We're putting a little trio act together called Fun Flowers.
Oh,
it's a little more Americana roots and some of the blues, and Dave and I will be doing duets together, which is new. And so we have a couple upcoming dates at the Stove House to showcase that. This is my favorite venue. It's outdoors, it's indoors, it's whatever you want.
I love the
Kids,
Stove House
old
right
people,
now.
everything in between.
Yes.
And then I know for certain I'm often at the Boot on the South Parkway. I'm there Friday, November 23rd. And then that's Saturday, November 23rd. And then on Sunday, November 24th, is a show that I've actually hired an acting coach to get me into character, because I will be playing one of the yet-to-be-named 5 divas that are in the lineup for the show. I believe it's on UAH campus from 3 to 5. And these women are sensational. I would have never known them if it was not for Patrice Bivens calling me and giving me a shot at that. So thanks, Patrice. Thank you to everybody in our audiences and everybody who has supported in each and every little way. It means so, so much to us and our little family. God bless you.
Yes. Ingrid, please tell them how they can get your music, how they can connect with you as well in the event that they want to reach out or they want to listen into more of your music.
I am at Ingrid Marie Music on YouTube platform, on Reverb Nation platform, and on Facebook platform, as well as Instagram. And if you want to purchase music, you can download it. I have a SoundCloud feed. I have physical CDs if you have a CD player, or if you don't, you can get one anyway because it's full of artwork and lyrics. And then you just got to come to a show, because you just got to have a good time. You got to meet me, and you got to meet our people and people we play with. And what else? I mean, probably like the best stuff's on Reverb Nation and YouTube now. Ingrid Marie Music.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in. This is your girl, JQ, and you're listening to Valley Sounds on 89.3 Huntsville. Thanks for listening.
Woohoo!
Booyah!
Oh, it's so hard to come to work.